Trying to throw the tough questions there, huh? Well, let me start off with one. And I realize this is something that differs from my party significantly. I've always made the distinction with marriage customs. There is a difference between the religious covenant, an agreement between your spouse and God, and the civil contract, the piece of paper that the state gives you. And though I believe religious institutions should continue to be free to issue and recognize marriages as they see fit, I think that the civil agreement, which is the basic civil rights, hospital visitation rights, inheritance laws, power of attorney, etc., I think that that should be offered to any couple, gay or straight. So I'm actually in favor of amending or repealing Marshall Newman to make that happen. Now, I realize that's a very testy issue for both sides, and I understand the arguments on both. However, this is where I feel I believe that individuals should be free to interact as they please. But if this is an issue that's important to you, this is not going to move in that direction until there is bipartisan support for it. If you want to continue to elect someone who just fights for it but doesn't do anything about it, you have one choice. But if you want change, you have another. The other area I would like to make a change is in our correction system. We got rid of parole in our state in the 90s, and as such, our prisons are bloated and overly costly. And a lot of that has to do with nonviolent drug offenders. I'm in favor of a system of drug courts in which we move nonviolent possession charges through rehabilitation and then have a court system that makes sense, that we can go through a rehabilitation path. It's far less costly, it kicks drug addicts, and it reduces violent crime down the road. Mr. Hope?
You know, obviously, Eric sounds more like a Democrat every day, which is good. It's good because it's, you know, and I probably sound more like a Democrat. You know, one of the issues that I've worked on a great deal, and I think I'll probably differ a lot with Democratic colleagues, is in healthcare, and you know, it's the medical liability and what physicians are trying to do to take care of their patients, but they see just the exorbitant premiums. In many cases, many doctors, their premiums are so high that it's hard for them to stay in business. And it's you know, in some cases obstetrics, some OBGYNs are no longer delivering babies because of it, and surgical care and those kinds of things. They're not able to do certain procedures because their premiums are just so high. And so I see that from a physician perspective. Now that does counter to a lot of trial lawyers and others who think that, you know, victims' rights are extremely important in these cases. And I think there needs to be a balance in these areas. So I would be one of those people that would be in favor of keeping the liability cap, which in Virginia it's at $2 million. It's a hard cap. I would be in favor of keeping that as it is, because I think that is absolutely critical that we have a balance, but we make sure that people are getting the care that they need, because access can be threatened. And that's the one issue. I can't really think of another issue, but I'll certainly get back to you.
Well, the Green Party has an exceptionally long and detailed policy platform. It really does. It's like 100 pages long. I kid you not. And I appreciate the question, John, and I was racking my brain trying to figure out what in this 100-page document I disagree with. And I'm not sure that I can think of a major issue that I disagree with the Green Party. So let me say that that's my honest answer. Let me tell you why I left the Democratic Party many years ago. Because I feel that we need a fundamental alternative in this country. I feel that the two major parties aren't addressing policy issues except from a very narrow bandwidth that's leading to very piecemeal reform efforts. And I think that the Green Party differs in a much more comprehensive solution to the policy issues that it puts out, and in a more holistic manner in dealing with some of the issues that confront our society. So I support universal health care, and that's an option that almost no Democrat or Republican supports, for example. I support fundamental reform of the criminal justice system in this country. I support, as I mentioned, comprehensive campaign finance reform, to get corporate influence out of our politics, which I think is really the major difference. Because Dominion, Virginia and payday lending are giving money to both the Democrats and the Republicans. And that can't possibly produce a good policy outcome. So that's why I left the Democratic Party, is to propound alternatives, give people alternative visions and real hope.